Hey everyone, Jason here. So this is the first of many how-to videos I plan on shooting over the next few months. A lot of my friends and family say that I have a lot of skills, and I think it's time that I share that knowledge with all of you now. Hopefully I can help you build some cool things. So for this first video, I'm going to teach you how to design a mobile app. So if you ever had an idea for your own Snapchat or Tinder or Facebook or Amazon, this is the way to learn the fundamentals. I'm going to show you how to find the right templates, choose color combinations, create a button, and use the basic tools in Adobe Photoshop, which is my software of choice. So make sure you have a copy of Adobe Photoshop in order to do this tutorial along with me. So let's get started. All right, so what we're gonna do is open up Photoshop. So this is assuming you guys have Adobe Photoshop. The first thing we're gonna do is create a new file. So File New, and we'll call it Mobile App. The width is going to be 640 pixels, and the height is going to be 1136 pixels. That's the height and width of an iPhone app screen, and the resolution will be 300 dpi, and color mode you can leave it RGB color, and you can make this 600 if you want. It just makes it a bigger resolution, but for the purposes of this demo I'm going to keep it at 300. Hit OK, and here's your mobile app. As you can see, it looks like the size of an iPhone mobile app. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag a photo, and this is how easy Photoshop is to use, by the way, is just drag a photo right in. I'm going to highlight it by hitting Control A. That selects all. Control C, copy. Go back over to this tab. You'll see there's tabs up here. And Control V. So look how easy that was. We took an Airbnb mobile app screen and pasted it into our layers here. A good rule of thumb is name your layers Airbnb. That way you know that that layer, by hitting the eyeball, you can turn it on and off, is Airbnb. I got this this photo from a cool site called Patterns, PTTRNS.com. You can see all sorts of different types of screens. In this case, I'll click on signups, and you'll see different sign-up screens. One of them was Airbnb, and I thought, hey, let's show you guys how to actually make this screen. But you can find lots of other cool screens on Patterns. I think it's amazing if you're looking for inspiration or for designs. From here, I'll show you guys a cool template, Tihin and Lax. These guys are amazing. I'll do iOS 7 PSD. And you'll find a bunch of them. So if you click on this one here, for example, it'll tell you to just download the PSD. I just downloaded the iOS 8 one, so what I'll do is I'll show you what that looks like by opening it up. It's going to ask you to keep the layers, hit yes, hit OK. Just hit yes to everything when it asks you. It all depends on what version of Photoshop you have also. So this is what it looks like. And if you want to scroll in, you can hold down the Alt key on your keyboard and use the mouse scroll to scroll in or out by holding the Alt key, ALT. And that way you can kind of scroll around. You can always use the other thing like the magnifying glass if you want. I don't like the magnifying glass personally because I find it to be kind of slow. But you can do Alt, scroll wheel, with or without the magnifying glass. So the point of a template like this one is you can select, for instance, if you have auto select checked over here, by the way, have auto select checked. That way it selects the layer you click on. So now I can hit the eyeball and see what it's actually getting rid of. And it's getting rid of the little white circle. So if I want to turn that switch completely, get rid of the switch completely, I can do that. Or I can simply drag this switch onto the screen here, and then look at that. Now we have it on our oh, and when you have layers selected, it's only going to take, when you move it around, it's only going to take the layer that you touch. So if you want to take this entire switch, then I would suggest clicking on the folder and then using either unselect auto select like this, so you can move the whole thing around, or you can also leave that on and just use the arrow key with holding down the shift button. The shift button will allow you with the arrow keys to move it around wherever you want on the screen. So let's get rid of that. So just hit the delete key to get rid of that. I just wanted to show you this template. So if you guys decide that you don't know how to design really well and you want to just take some elements out of Tian and Lax's cool template, you can go in here and steal pretty much any button that you see that you like. You can take from here. There's a lot of cool different things you'll find, like these buttons here, for example. So let's close that out because we're not going to use it for this. Instead, we're going to create this from scratch. So we're going to drag in a photo that I have, and I'll grab one really quick. And let's take Kristen. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing, Control A, Control C, and Control V. All right, we'll call this Kristen. Now, obviously, she's not the same size as this document, so I'm going to use the menu so that I use hotkeys like Alt-E to get in here, and then A, Alt-E for edit, and then A for transform. But you can do that as well. You can just click on Edit, have this selected, Edit, Transform, Scale. Scale is how you bring things up to scale or down to scale. So let's basically take this image, move it up here to the top, and then let's drag until it reaches the bottom. All right, you can hit enter. Enter is the easiest way to get out of this. And then just kind of make sure you have it centered until you're happy. That looks good to me. Okay, so we can get rid of that for a second. Let's look at this one. So now you see a photo in the background, but it looks a little dull. That's because they added some sort of layer on top to make it not as bright. You can do that with the opacity level here as well, where you bring this down and we can give, and let me slow down for a second. So the background is white. If we make the background, let's say like a dark gray, okay, and then bring Kristen back, as you can see, she's not as bright anymore because we brought the opacity level down, right? But what I actually like to do is something better than this. I like to leave the opacity level, not use a background, and instead I'm going to create a new layer, which is this button right here. And it actually, if you leave it on there long enough, it'll tell you what it is. Create a new layer. Let's call this gray overlay. Okay, a gray overlay. I'm basically going to take the paint bucket here, which I'm already selected, and I'm going to just hit it right inside the middle here. Boom. There goes the gray overlay. So from here, I can easily and always select the arrow. It's a lot easier to select things, and it moves things around. So as you see, I have a gray overlay. Okay, so I'm going to take the opacity level of that and bring it down to like 75%. That way, as you see, Kristen is still there and she's in full form, but I have an overlay. Makes it a little duller, which is really good for the purposes of this demo. All right, so let's see what we have once again over with Airbnb. Airbnb, we have a login with Facebook, we have a logo, we have login with email, we have sign up. So we're going to put in some logos and buttons. I'll use Instamore, my app, in case you don't have it, at instamore.com or Apple instamore.com. Let's go and grab a logo. I have plenty of stuff here, and let's take the white logo and let's just grab the text. Okay, and I'm going to paste it in there. Okay, let's try to make it the same size as the Airbnb, just to make it kind of work for what we're trying to do here. All right, so that's about the same size. I'll hit enter, and let's put the gray overlay in Kristen. So there we go. It's covering her eyes, so let's kind of maybe move it, maybe here. So it still has her. And keep in mind, what I plan on doing in the background at some point is having this be a video and not just a picture. So this will be moving around anyway. But let's keep going and see what Airbnb looks like. So we have login with Facebook, login with email, we have a sign up. So what we can do is kind of cheat here. It's a little quicker. We can take the color of this button and we can select, let me slow down, sorry. So the eyedropper tool over here, the eyedropper tool, it will select any color. As you see, this little color is changing over here. You can also open this up and you'll see it changing automatically. Okay. Eyedropper tool will grab any color that you touch. And as you see, it's changing colors based on what I'm touching, and that's what color you'll be using. But for this one, we're going to pick the blue for Facebook, and then we're going to go to the shapes. And if you click on this and then hold down, because you have to hold down on the mouse, click rounded rectangle tool, and then let's give it a radius up here of 5 pixels. That means it'll give it a very limited rounded edges. All right, so let's do this and just drag it over. Okay, we have that. And let's do the login with Facebook. Hold on a second. Let's switch this up and do Helvetica. I like Helvetica New font. It's probably one of my favorite fonts. I'm kind of a Helvetica whore. Let's bring this down to, I guess, 8. And if you're curious what I'm actually doing here, I selected the type tool, which is right here. Everyone knows the type tool. And I just clicked somewhere in here, and it brought this up, and I just typed in login with Facebook. So nothing really spectacular. As you notice, it looks a little pixelated, so let's do smooth on here to smooth it out. There we go. And let's make it a size 7. See how that looks. It's starting to look pretty damn close, right? So from here, I'd say even leave it back at 8, and then just bring it over here. As for the Facebook and the line, you know, we have to create those. So basically what that means is we're gonna have to give our shape a little bit of a stroke. So let's double click, add a stroke. Okay, it's too much, so we'll basically go back and give it a 1. That looks good. Okay, it's starting to look pretty good. And let's see how that looks, just so we can see. All right, not bad. So it's starting to look pretty good. And from here, we have to add the line and the Facebook F. For the Facebook F, you know, we can easily go to Google and just see if we can find it on Facebook F, and there's a bunch of them here. So we could just very simply, you know, take one of these, save this one. Same thing, just pull it in. And for this one, let's do the magic wand. So the magic wand is this one. We can just highlight the F, copy that, paste it. It's going to be huge, obviously, it's humongous. Okay, and we're going to have to scale. This time, make it small. Okay, something like that. And let's just see how that one looks with Airbnb. And you can move these layers around, so I'm going to move Airbnb on top. That way we can see how it looks compared to ours. Ours looks different, but that's okay. We want it to look different. We also need that black line. So the black line is pretty easy. We'll take the line tool and let's just kind of steal this color. Remember the eyedropper tool. So now you see that's the dark color there. And let's just see if this is the right size. It seems like it is. So let's make a new layer. And I got lazy and stopped naming these. So line, and we'll call this FB line for Facebook line, login with Facebook. This layer, I believe, is the Facebook F, so FBF, and this is FB box. And I believe this, I don't even know what this is, and I'll find out in a minute. And obviously I'm getting lazy, and therefore we have to start naming our layers. And that's important, to name your layers. So I put a line down here. Oops, I put it on the wrong thing. So let's put a line here. Okay, and let's get rid of Airbnb. And look at that, we have our own little line with login with Facebook. Looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, if you want to thin out, let's see what this layer is, by the way. Oh, so that layer is logo. So Instamore logo. It's really good to name your layers because then you don't get lost in terms of what's what, right? You can also group these. So for example, you can click on the group folder and name this Facebook button, or let's just call it FB to be consistent. Facebook button. Take all the Facebook elements, these 4 things, and just put them into that folder. See how much cleaner this looks now? You can go like this and just get rid of the button. Look at that. Instead of having to get rid of each thing one by one. The other cool thing is we can duplicate this group. Let's call it Instagram or IG button and move this down. Okay, and let's log in with Instagram. Instead of redoing it over and over again, just take what we have already. And what we're going to do is change the color. So let's look for Instagram. Let's see if there's a login with Instagram. And lo and behold, there's something. So we can either take that one or we can find a better one. This one looks pretty good here. So it's going to be, the icon with a brown. This one's pretty good here. I kind of like this one. So let's see if we can kind of steal some imagery from this, and I'll show you how to do this. This is where it gets interesting, because this one we have to actually create ourselves. So let's take this whole thing and plop it in here. Okay, magic wand will get rid of all of this gray stuff. The tolerance level up here will make it so that it selects more, in case you were wondering what tolerance means. Well, now you'll notice it selects everything, but it took too much. It's taking the white stuff too. Let's go down to 30 and see what happens. And that's pretty good. Let's just do that for now, just so we can kind of see how this looks. Now, we don't really like the brown, right? But we do like this beige right here, this beige. So select the beige, the IG button. We're going to take the box, and you can simply click on this color here twice and just do the eyedropper tool. And look at that, nice and simple. We can take the Instagram logo or just this element here, these 4, using the Marquee Tool, which is the square up here with the dots. That's basically a selector tool. I can select this thing here, and then I can copy and paste by doing Control-C, Control-V. Nice and simple. And I can make it fill this whole thing by scaling. I showed you how to scale, very easy, right? And we can remove the Facebook F copy by just highlighting it and hitting delete, because it's still there. Let's get rid of this. This is layer 2, that's rainbow, so we'll call it rainbow. The F is still there, so highlight it and hit delete. And the line is blue, let's make it brown. So we'll take this and we'll, find a nice brown color like that. And also the words are kind of light, so we could always make them brown too. So we can always take this color by double clicking on the brown that you liked. The color here, copy, Control-C. Click here for the text, color, and there you go. So it might not look perfect, but hey, we made ourselves our own little button here. You can always add the Instagram logo here if you prefer, instead of the rainbows. You can always add some text underneath just by selecting the type tool and white text and just type, or log into your account. And you can put that underneath. You can make it smaller. You can have it an underline so it looks like a link. It's really easy to do, as you see. I'm not really doing anything crazy. And you can always now move the Instagram button away from the Facebook button a little close, and then move or log into your account a little bit below. And then voila, you have yourself a login screen. From here, you need to take these elements out of here. The only ones you really need are these 3. The background as well. So you're going to basically take all this stuff and just get rid of it. And then you're going to save for web and devices. And you're going to save it, mobile app. You want to call it mobile app BG for background. we want to make this a PNG file. Always PNGs for mobile apps. And save, call this BG. Let's make a new folder just to make this easy, call it mobile app. Okay, that's done. That's saving. From here, you want to bring in the Facebook button and the Instagram button, the Instamore logo. Best way to do this, I think, is by slicing it. So you take this tool here, the slice tool, and you literally slice. Slice this, slice that, and slice this. You don't really need the text because you can create that in the mobile app program like Xcode or the Android SDK. You can create text, so you don't need that. From here, you want to remove these because all you need is these three things. And again, hit save for web and devices. This time it's going to save all of these as separate images. You'll see here. Let's call these buttons. And when I open up this folder, I'm going to find a bunch of images. Now, of course, it also brings out all these other things that you don't need, so you just delete these. Okay, just delete these. And what you're left with is the logo, to log in with Facebook, and to log in with Instagram buttons. And you can just plop these right into your program and make them clickable. And that's pretty much how to create a mobile app design. Very simplistic version, obviously, and only the home screen. I can get into more detail later. Hopefully you understand how to use these tools that I showed you, how to use layers and groups. I tried to keep this as simple as possible. If you think that you need some more help, feel free to write some comments and letting me know what you need, and I can see what I can do to help you. So thanks for watching this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. If there's ever any tutorial that you want me to create in the future, leave a comment to let me know what it is, or you can email me at jasonsherman.org. And you can also check out my other tutorials, howto.jasonsherman.org. I'll see you in the next one.